All right, let's unpack this. Today we're diving into some expert sports betting picks.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the daily picks May 14th, 2025 from Puddin's POP.
Yeah.
And the goal here is really to see how they're thinking, not just the picks themselves, like a shortcut to understanding their analysis.
Yeah, and Putin's POP, it's interesting. They're not just like throwing darts. It's about stats, reasoning, and they track it all.
Transparency, yeah.
Exactly. It lets us see, what's working.
Absolutely. And looking at the season results here on the sheet, I mean, they seem pretty solid.
What are the numbers looking like?
Well, for these picks dated May 14th, their strong plays are 13-4, good plays 10-6.
Okay.
So overall, what's that? 23 wins, 10 losses. And they note a bankroll change of plus 5.4%.
So yeah, definitely showing positive result. They're doing something effectively.
Right. So let's get into their strong play for today. It's the Rangers. Moneyline negative 245 against the Rockies.
Wow, negative 245. That's steep.
It is. And they've got a 94 out of 100 confidence score on it. They're projecting like an 85% win probability for the Rangers.
Okay, 94 confidence, 85% probability. They must see a pretty significant edge. What's the reasoning?
So what's driving that confidence? What's the core argument?
Well, it really boils down to a big mismatch, especially pitching.
Pitching.
Yeah, the Rangers have like top-tier pitching. Their ERA's third best. Bullpen's solid, too.
Mm-hmm.
Compare that to the Rockies.
Mm-hmm.
Their offense is near the bottom, 29th in runs per game, and their pitching ERA, dead last, 30th.
Oof. That's a stark difference.
Each difference.
So a clear pitching advantage for Texas, but I assume there's more to it than just the team ERAs.
Oh, definitely. They look at the starters, too. You've got Corbin for the Rockies, Senzatella for the, other way around. Corbin for the Rangers. No, sorry, let me check that.
It's actually Patrick Corbin listed against the Rangers, pitching for the Rockies, and Antonio Senzatella for the Rangers.
Ah, right. Thanks. Okay, so Patrick Corbin for the Rockies, his expected stats, like xERA and WAR, are actually better than Senzatella's, despite Senzatella being on the better team contextually. Corbin's xERA is 4.52. Senzatella's is way up at 6.98.
Interesting. So even the underlying pitcher metrics favor the Rangers' opponent pitcher less than you might think, or rather, Senzatella's numbers look weaker.
Well, it shows Senzatella might be performing worse than his standard ERK suggests, based on underlying factors. Corbin's metrics are more solid compared to Senzatella's expected performance.
Gotcha. And the game's at Globe Life Field. Neutral site, basically. Does that factor in?
Yeah, it does. No major home field boost skewing things. Plus, they point out the Rockies strike out a lot, 26.4 per K rate.
Plays right into the Rangers' pitching strength.
Exactly. And the Rangers limit hard contact well, looking at their opponent XWOBA, so it just minimizes the Rockies' chances.
So that negative 245, while high, starts to make sense given all those factors lining up.
That's their justification, yeah. A significant mismatch across the board.
Okay, let's switch gears. Their good play. Brewers money line, plus 130 against the Guardians. Confidence is lower here, 72 out of 100. Win probability at 58%.
Right. So, still favoring the Brewers, but it's not a lock like the Rangers pick. This one's about value.
Value at plus 130. Makes sense. What's the angle?
They see the Brewers as a good value pick as underdogs. Offensively, Milwaukee actually scores a bit more per game than Cleveland, 4.28 versus 4.07.
A slight edge there. And the pitching.
Well, they think the Brewers starter, Logan Henderson, have a decent shot against a Guardians lineup that's kind of middle of the road offensively.
Okay.
And the Guardians starter, Gavin Williams, his expected stats like xRA aren't great either, over 5, so it's not like he's unhittable.
What about the bullpens? I recall the Brewers having some issues there.
They do acknowledge that. Brewers' bullpen ERA isn't fantastic, but Cleveland's overall pitching is just sort of average, and they don't hit for a ton of power, low HRSB rate, so maybe they can't fully exploit that Brewers' bullpen weakness.
So the value odds, the slight offensive edge, may be a winnable starting pitching matchup. It outweighs the bullpen risk in their eyes.
Precisely. And again, neutral conditions at Progressive Field in Cleveland doesn't give the Guardians a massive edge. It creates an opportunity for that plus 130 upset potential.
So summing up the Puddin's POP approach here, it looks like evaluating team strengths, yes, but really digging into specific matchups, especially pitching.
Yeah, and pitcher metrics, not just ERA.
Right, expected stats too. Plus park factors, and crucially, finding value in the betting lines themselves.
Exactly. It's layered. Statistical analysis, matchup deep dives, probability assessment based on all that data, not just gut feelings.
Makes sense. And, even if you're not betting, looking at how they break down these probabilities, it's quite insightful.
Absolutely. It shows how you can use data, look past the surface noise, and try to get a clearer picture of potential outcomes.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it, how applying that kind of analytical thinking, weighing probabilities, looking at expected performance versus actual giveable could be useful in, almost any field where you need to make informed decisions.
That's a great point. If this level of analysis helps predict something as complex as a baseball game, imagine applying that rigorous data-driven thinking elsewhere. Investments, business decisions, maybe even personal choices. Definitely something to think about.